Good morning and welcome back to the channel. Well, we've had a very early start this morning and we're at Bempton Cliffs. I know I've made a fair few videos of Bempton Cliffs already, but as RSPB reserves go, they don't get much better than this. We arrived, it took us a little bit less time than we thought to get here, so we arrived and it was still dark, so decided to just get a couple of hours shut-eye in the car, and I've slept a little bit too long. And we've missed the sunrise, but actually I think we probably would have been a little bit disheartened by it because there's quite a lot of cloud that's coming over the top. However, we've arrived, and as soon as we've arrived, there've been two barn owl hunting on the field. Always majestic to see. Hopefully I've got some photographs for you. I've definitely got a little bit of video for you, so I'll pop that up on the screen for you now to see. As you can see, despite us being in April now and the sun even being out, Bempton Cliffs is typically freezing. It's always cold on Bempton Cliffs. So I'll explain what it is that I'm doing right now. So we're stood on the cliff tops. I started off with the sun in front of me, and I'm going to just turn the camera around so you can see. So I started off with the sun in front of me, and as the sun was in front of me, the gannets are flying in, and then they're stopping just over here on the cliff top to pull off some of the grass. You can see one dropping in there. They're pulling off the grass for nesting material. So when the sun was behind them, I was able to create some silhouettes and some rim lighting on top of the bird. Now I've moved so the sun's on my back, and I'm trying to get photographs just as they're coming in and dropping onto the cliff top. They kind of really flap the wings quite violently to try and stall the airspeed so that they can land safely on the cliff top, and that makes for some quite pleasing photographs. So it's just a case really of moving up and down the cliff and adjusting your position with where the light is to get different types of shots. All of these shots that I'm going for at the moment are birds in flight. There are places further down where we'd be able to go and hopefully see some of the gannets on the cliff top and be able to get some nice portraits of them. But right now we've got an onshore wind, so it's pushing against the cliff, and it's meaning that the gannets are popping up just in front of us, and it's just ideal for those birds in flight shots. When you get an offshore wind, you don't get the same effect, and the wind really does have a huge impact at Bempton Cliffs on how the gannets behave. So it's something that I always check before coming, because what you want is an onshore wind. That onshore wind really creates an updraft off the cliff tops, and it pushes the gannets to be just at eye level in front of you for those birds in flight shots. You don't get that same experience when you get an offshore wind. I'm full of a cold, but we're out, we're in the sunshine, and we're enjoying it. So stay with me and see what I see. I'll just give you a couple more tips. I think sometimes one of the worst things that you can do is to focus on a spot and wait for birds to fly into it. So I know exactly where the birds are stalling and flapping the wings to land on a certain spot. But if you focus on that spot and wait for the birds to come in, I think your hit rate is much lower. So what I tend to do is I tend to pick a bird, and invariably I'll go for one that swings out wide to the left, so it comes over the land, because then it's got to come back round into the wind to be able to stall. They've got to face the oncoming wind to be able to land. They can't land properly with the wind on the backs. So if you're watching the birds, the ones that swing out more onto the land before they then turn back in to stall to land onto the cliff top are the ones that are going to give you the best kind of body position to get the shot, because they'll turn round and you'll get the full side of them in this beautiful golden light that's behind me. So I will be constantly tracking birds as they're coming in, and a lot of birds I won't take a shot, and then one of the birds that I'll be tracking in will swing out to the left over the land, and at that point I'll follow that one right in, and then just as he turns into the wind and starts to flap is when I'll start taking the shots. I don't spray and pray. I don't hold my finger down on the trigger and just take thousands and thousands. I suppose, you know, there is an argument that that's what you should do with the Z9. It does 20 frames per second, and that's going to get you that absolute critical shot. But I don't like to photograph like that. What I tend to do is to do small bursts. So as it's coming in, I'll take a burst, take a burst, take a burst. On the high frame rate, 20 frames per second, but in them small bursts. And I think by doing it that way, that for me gives me the best shots and the best chance of getting the image. Another little tip for Bempton Cliffs, and probably one I shouldn't share with everybody, because actually it's going to go against everything that's here now. My best tip for Bempton Cliffs is do not wait until it opens. Do not wait till the middle of the day. You need to be here for first light or last light. Preferably, I prefer early morning light, and I'm going to explain to you why. We're on the east coast, which means that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. If you wait till the evening light, what tends to happen, just as you're getting that golden light, the sun is setting over the back here, and the whole of the cliffs are in shadow, which means that you're pushing your ISO to get those shots. The beauty of it being on the east coast is when you get that beautiful golden morning light, it illuminates all the cliff tops, and you get some lovely images of birds on the cliffs. And the biggest advantage of all is there's absolutely no one here. It's completely empty. I've got it all to myself, and for me that's the best time to be anywhere. The best time is to be there where you've got it all to yourself, just you, the sea air, the golden sun, and the beautiful birds. We've seen our first puffin of the year. There's two just down on the rocks below us. They're probably a little bit far for photographs. I've taken a couple of pictures, but they're just ideal for some video. So I've got some video which I'll pop up on the screen. Enjoy this little puffin. this has got to be one of the most epic puffins I've seen at Bempton Cliffs. You normally don't get them high up, they're normally almost always low down on the cliff, and so you're almost always photographing down onto them. Whereas there's a pair that are, I think, are possibly burrowing into the soft ground at the top, and they're right up at the top, which is absolutely fantastic. The only fly in the ointment at the minute is that we don't have the light. We've got beautiful subject, we've got perfect location, and we're just missing the light. But this is going to make some absolutely fantastic video for you guys, and a few photographs to go to boot as well. He's just peering around the corner, which is lovely. So what's incredible about the puffin is they do mate for life. So once they pair up, they go off to sea. Towards the end of July, beginning of August, they'll disperse, and they won't stay together. Then they'll be out at sea, and then they come back to their places where they've, I'm assuming probably where they were born themselves, and then they meet up. And when they first meet up, they connect the bond by billing, so they pass their bills backwards and forwards to one another. Human instinct would tell you that they're kissing, because it does look like they're kissing, but they're not. It's a billing motion. So the other interesting fact is that the puffins, as we see them, and they're known as the clowns of the sea because of their flamboyant colours, are only there during the breeding season. So the plates that sit on their bill, that are beautifully coloured, and they're very, very vibrant red feet, they go very dull during the winter time. They're just purely for breeding plumage, and they're just a spectacular little species to photograph, and real little characters as well. So I'm going to wrap the video up there. What a morning we've had. We've had barn owl right from the word go. We've had then the beautiful golden light as the sun was rising, and able to photograph the gannet coming into the light and coming from behind the light. And we've got those backlit images. We've got those images where it had been lit from the side as they were coming in, and they were arresting against the wind to land on the cliff tops. And then we've had a walk back up to the top end of the reserve, and we've seen puffins. We've seen probably some of the best encounters of puffins that I've had whilst I've been at Bempton Cliffs, and I've been here countless times before, but puffins right at the top of the cliff in amongst the green foliage just creates images that I've never had here before. The only time I've had images that have come close to that is when I've been to the Farne Islands, and the light was very harsh there, so it was quite difficult to get the images. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I know it's another video of Bempton Cliffs, and I have made videos of here before, but I genuinely believe you could come here 100 times and have 100 different experiences. So I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please consider giving it a like, maybe even a subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Please pop a comment in the box below if you want to have a chat, if you want to ask me anything. I respond to every single comment that's out there. If you see me out on the path, come and say hello. Lots of people are starting to do that now and it's great. And until next time, ta-ra.